Hi guys, hope you're well. As I mentioned in my first ever video, I not only wanted to tackle some really good and positive things in my life, funny things, things that I find enjoyable. I also just wanted to talk about mental health. Obviously, this is quite a difficult subject. I've understood how I'm going to approach this. Obviously, don't want to upset anyone else. But I thought it would be interesting, and maybe even if just one person saw these videos and it made them realise they're not alone or something like that, then it could help. I appreciate I will probably have to miss certain bits out just because it doesn't just affect me, it might affect others. But I just thought I would have these conversations. I'm really not sure how they're going to go. It's taken a lot for my confidence just to even do this and put this out there. As we all know, um, especially in men, there's a stigma, and it's not always good to talk. It is good to talk, but it's also scary to talk for men for various reasons. I guess my reason is if I ever worry about saying something, it's more that people might look at me and think I'm weak, I can't cope with life, etc., etc. That's probably the biggest stopper for me. But there's far more positives as well. Luckily, um, I find I can talk about it better than most people who are suffering the same. Um, and for that reason, I feel that maybe it could just help someone else. So I'm just going to do some short videos really on different stages of my life, where I was, what I was doing, how it started. Um, so my life hadn't always been amazing when I was young. Um, I never had a father figure. My mum done the best she could. Um, And I guess the biggest thing about me as a youngster, which I've realised in later years, was that I was very immature. And to be honest, a lot of the things that I'd done as a child, uh, being immature, probably made life a lot harder for me. Obviously, we can't rewind the clock. I got myself in trouble in various different ways. And I still never realised. Maybe I was acting out. I think maybe I was trying to find myself. Maybe I was trying to. I often think that I just wanted to be one of the gang, but once I became one of the gang in my later teenage years, I then wanted to be something more than that. I wanted to be the opposite of not being important. And I definitely feel that I went the wrong way about this, especially when I was younger, but to be honest, quite far into my adult life. And even now, in some little ways, like I still want to be seen as. I don't mean a big deal. I still want to be seen maybe as someone who I think's cool. Like I know that sounds extremely vain or guarded, but I guess for my own mental health, I feel that if people think I'm cool, then they don't think I'm weak. Which is a completely and utterly stupid thing. However, it's how I feel. Um, Throughout these videos, I'll probably make excuses for how I feel or have felt or actions I've done, but the truth is, I own all of those actions. Um, I'm my own person. I've made so many mistakes, but I feel I have learned from a lot. Unfortunately, I started learning from them far too late in life, in my opinion, and here we are. So, I'm just going to tell you how my mental health journey started, if I was to call it a journey. So, it was probably a little over 20 years now, nearly 21 years, and my coping mechanism was various bits, substitutes in life, and at this stage of my life, the main substitute for me was alcohol, um, and just to I drank myself into oblivion regularly. Um, I had an attitude that if I was like that and didn't let anyone in close, they couldn't hurt me. And I was drinking a lot, but I was still functioning. I was going to work. First of all, I had a job in a sports shop that I was there for about 5 years. Absolutely loved the job. Still my favourite job of my whole life. I was in my element, like working with sports and fashion, clothing and trainers. Anyone who knows me knows I've got a huge trainer collection and clothes collection. I still love it to this day. But I worked for a really nice couple, Dean and Jenny, who were really good to me. I absolutely loved my job. Unfortunately, the business didn't do too well and found myself being made redundant. I then found another job for Suits You. That company now are not in existence. I went there as the assistant manager, and after the manager left, they left me in charge of the branch for like 8 weeks on trial for what I saw for me to be going for the manager's job. And after 8 weeks, my figures were amazing, considering I ran the branch on the same people. Sorry, my wife's calling me. Sorry, I've just tapped her off. So I had the same team of about 4 or 5 people, but we didn't have the manager, who's the most experienced person in the branch. The year before, we'd had record figures and profits, and I pretty much matched them, maybe literally like tops 5% less. But they decided I wasn't the person for the job after that, and had said they were bringing their own person in. On top of that, at the time, me and my wife Sarah, we'd split up and she'd actually moved out. But I think these were 2 parts, but I don't think that was all of how I was feeling. I think deep down there was so much more. And then it literally took me having an argument with a girl, not in a romantic way or anything like that. I stuck up for my wife because this girl had been really shitty with her, and I had a row with this girl. And to be honest, it was nothing really. It really wasn't. But it seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back. And then I started to have my first ever mental breakdown. This was over 20 years ago. This wasn't in the public realm. It wasn't spoken about. I didn't know what the hell was happening to me. I remember at the time Stan Collymore, the footballer, had come out saying how he has depression now. And mine and probably millions, thousands or millions of other people probably thought the same, going, how can you have depression? You play football for a living and earn loads of money. How can this be the case? But anyway, I soon started learning myself that it doesn't matter what you have in life. If you have depression, you can't help it. So I had my first breakdown. Didn't want to answer the door, didn't want to answer the phone. Went to the doctors. They said that I had depression and anxiety, and I got put on antidepressants for the first time. I didn't want to deal with anything. I was living in Clacton at the time. I ran up to St Neots, where I currently live, to stay with my mate Kevin, and I stayed there, started doing some work with him, and made the decision to actually move up here. But I made the decision that I wanted to try again with Sarah, and thankfully I did, because my marriage and my family, Sarah and Harry, are everything, my whole life to me. So that is how my journey started over 21 years ago. And unfortunately, I'm still in this position now. I'm a 47-year-old man who's still struggling. So I just wanted to have this as my introduction video, just tell you where it started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably go back and forth, various steps of my journey, tell you how I am. I might even do some daily updates telling you I'm great. I'm not sure how it's going to go yet, but if this can just help one person, then it'll be brilliant. So anyone that's watching or listening, thank you very much. If you can subscribe and carry on seeing me on this journey, that'd be great. Thanks guys, and I will speak to you soon.